Live from Rush Point Studios, it's the Pat and Brian Show.
Oh, here we go. It is Tuesday night. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's the Pat and Brian Show right here, live on the air.
On something. I don't know about the air, but on something.
Yeah. Clear the air, will you?
Okay.
You just
sound is on again.
What do you mean your sound is on again? Well, turn it down. My gosh, do you not know how to do anything on computer?
Whoops.
Oh, my word, boy. I say, boy.
Oh, come on.
You want me to show you how to do it?
I know how to do it. It's just not cooperating. There.
Did you get it finally?
Yeah.
Next time I'm going to turn it on full blast.
Don't be cruel.
That's true. So anyway, looks like Donald Trump is in the lead so far, 273 delegates. I think you need 1,215 to win the nomination. I do not vote in the primary. That's one thing I've never done. I don't know. I just don't know. So anyway, yeah. So he's got 273. You need 1,215 to get the nomination, and I believe that he'll have it. Sounds like
I nominate Rockefeller.
I
nominate Rockefeller.
You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. My goodness. Well, Pat, happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. Actually, I did wish you a happy birthday on your birthday.
Yeah.
It sounded like you had a really exciting birthday too. So from what you told me, we won't go into it. But
no.
Anyway, it was nice that you celebrated. Now, what are you, 57 now? Is that right?
I was born in 66.
57, 56. 50, I don't know. I was gone.
How old are you?
I'm 58.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how old am I?
57. I was born in 65.
Okay. So I'm 57.
Oh, okay. So you're 57.
No, actually, I'm 58.
Well, you're 58. Okay. I'll be 59. I'll be 59 this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Getting to be an old part.
What do you mean getting?
I'm an old part. So, yeah. So anyway, I don't have anything to talk about tonight. We didn't really talk about a whole lot of anything. So
always have something to talk about. Just something might pop up, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time we wind up talking to ourselves because nobody will talk back to us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of wondering, is it because we don't get in depth well into the sex, drugs, rock and roll, politics, and religion? Is it because we just talk, something for somebody to listen to, maybe? Or
I don't know, but I'm honestly getting to the point where do I think that I want to continue with this?
Well,
because it's like a moot point. We started out pretty big.
Yeah, we did. People coming in, that
it was a novelty,
yeah,
back then. So, and now it's not quite a novelty anymore. And I mean, I can I can talk until the cows come home, but I mean, if we don't have people viewing or what have you, it's no.
Nobody's contacting us on our email, or they're not chiming in very much on the chat. And it's like, okay, people, we give you an opportunity to speak your mind.
Yeah, you can say pretty much anything you want to in here.
As long as it's not derogatory towards somebody.
Yeah.
No hate speech, no racism and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with any of that stuff that you just mentioned. And
neither do I. But just don't be mean.
No, don't be mean. You can be assertive without being aggressive. So, and but yeah, I've I don't know.
Well, there's a topic right there in itself, though, Brian.
What?
Why do people have to be so friggin' mean?
It's just the nature of the beast a lot of times.
I don't know if it's the nature of the beast. It's just that society has gotten so bad, with all these. Oh, you offended me. I mean, back in the olden days, as some people like to call them, or back in the day,
right?
Or better off when we were growing up, didn't matter what somebody said because we didn't care.
Yeah,
but
I don't care.
The children nowadays, they're so sheltered and told that this isn't allowed. That's not allowed. You can't do this. You can't do that. Okay, what about when we were growing up?
Yeah, that doesn't really work anymore. I mean, kids these days,
they're rotten. They are rotten to the core.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, there's very few that I've seen that really have their head on their shoulders and are doing a positive thing. It's a lot of negativity going on. I mean,
oh yeah, there's
and I got a shout out to Grant Littlemone, because when I was living in town, I was living right next door to the Littlemone Funeral Home. And anyway, I had Grant mow my lawn, and Grant is the son of the Littlemones. I'm sorry, I can't remember names, but anyway, great kid, absolutely wonderful. Came over every day, every week, and mowed lawn, and I'd give him money and all that. And then I had my stroke in, I think it was 2017, and he asked my wife Carrie if he could go down and visit. I guess he and the boys were going to be going down to a baseball game, and he wanted to stop by and visit at the hospital. So it was nice to see him. Yeah. But kids like that, they grow up in a respectful family. But there's a lot of families out there that a lot of people just don't know how to be parents anymore, and that's really heartbreaking. I mean, I know that for the most part, there are a lot of good people in the world still.
I know. I agree. There's a lot of good people, but
it's
just so bad where you say hi to somebody, a younger person, they walk by, you say, "Hey, how you doing?"
I know.
And they look at you like, "Who the hell are you talking to? Why are you talking to me?"
I had that same thing happen to me the other day. I was outside having a cigarette at Pawn America over in St. Cloud, and I had Tucker with me. And he was sitting on the bench with me, and there's this gal that gets out of the car, and she starts walking, and I just, like I normally do, I just say hi. She didn't say a thing, didn't even look at me. It's like, really rude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I like the days where you can walk by someone and say, "Hey, how you doing?" They say, "Hey, I'm doing okay. You have a good day," and be on your way.
Yeah, I mean, I've been driving down the road, and I usually wave to the people oncoming, and I've only gotten the bird one time. I'm like, what? I didn't give you the bird. I waved at you, and he gave me the bird.
It's funny you mention that because
it's probably you.
No, it wasn't me. No, but I've done something similar to that. When you're driving down the road and the person behind you is in a rush and they pull out and go by you.
Oh yeah.
When they're going by me, every once in a while I'd wave.
Yeah.
And they look at me kind of funny, like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm doing the speed limit. Speed limit 60.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, 65 or more. And these people still, they're in such a mad dash to get nowhere fast.
Yeah.
And you wave at them. And about 5 minutes later down the road, there they are, stopped at the stoplight, or they're pulled over by a cop.
Right.
And you go by them just shaking your head, or you're laughing. It's like, okay, there's your mistake. Did you learn anything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the time I went down to visit my dad with my daughter Brianna when she flew in from North Carolina. It was dead of winter. We just had freezing rain, and we were doing 35 miles an hour on 35 south. And there are people in these 4x4 trucks think that they're invincible, And anyway, they fly past you doing 60 miles an hour, and a mile or two down the road, they're in the ditch.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just rolled on my window and was like, ha, 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 you dummy.
Yeah.
So,
people are going slow for a reason.
Yeah. But getting back to the being a parent, I mean, it's really hard these days to be a parent. There's too many variables, I guess I can call them. The government, I mean, if you raise your hand to a child, you spank them or whatever, somebody sees you spanking them, it's ridiculous. People can call the cops on you and say, well, we're going to take your kids away. That's like, really? I mean, there's no, a lot of times there's no respect in the household anymore.
No, there isn't.
And-
Because the government stepped in and said, you cannot parent your children.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Mhm. That's not basically, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that they didn't actually come out and say that.
Really?
No.
How did they not?
Well, it's not.
How did they not?
How did they?
Well, they said that you can't yell at your kids. You can't spank your kids. Okay.
But I've never heard anybody tell me that I couldn't yell at my kids.
Okay. The government's telling you you cannot raise your hand to your child. You
Yeah.
can't spank them. You can't yell at them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell them what they can and can't do.
Well, here again, I don't know where you're getting the information from, because I don't know that I've ever heard that before. As far as, I mean, you kind of, how do I want to put this? You kind of think that's what's going on, but you don't know for sure, type of thing.
Well, no, granted, but then again, if you think it in a philosophical sense, isn't that what they're basically saying? Is you cannot parent your
Well,
child?
that's the thing. It's basically we don't know for sure what they're saying.
Okay.
So
See, that's agree to disagree,
yeah, we can.
and it's not offensive, people.
No, it's not. It's like I could tell them to go to HE double toothpicks, but I don't.
Hell, they kicked me out for selling ice cubes.
Yeah. So, how do you become a bed parent? I mean, a lot of people don't want to have kids now because the world has gone to hell in a handcart.
Yeah.
It's been like that since the beginning of time. I mean, it's not going to get any better. It'll only get worse until we blow ourselves up. And right now, the Russian president Vladimir Putin is talking about blowing people up. So is China. China wants to possibly go in and take over Taiwan. And
Power
then,
struggle.
and then you've got North Korea that wants to show its might. But and I honestly think that this is going to happen, is that when they fire their first nuke at anybody, they're going to be blown off the face of the map of the earth. And I don't have a doubt on that. I just hope it doesn't ever happen, because I hate to see people die needlessly because of some
Power hungry person.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm stronger than you, and I'm going to prove it.
Yeah, it's the whole thing with the Korean conflict. I never did understand what the deal was there. Why and maybe if we got somebody that's been in the Korean War and has been there and knows what's going on, or knew what was going on, can chime in.
Well, that's where people keep on saying, the Hatfields and the McCoys,
Yeah, I
and
know.
that was over a pig.
Yeah, I know. And but it's ridiculous, because you got people that want to blow other people up just because of the color of their skin, or because their religion, or whatever it is.
To speak a different language.
Yeah, or look
at me funny. I'm gonna blow you up.
exactly. And it's just ridiculous. And I don't know what else to say on the matter. I mean, it blows me away. It really does. And then we've got people in our own country, shootings and all that. And here again, I'm not gonna go racist on anybody, but you hear a lot more news about when a black person is killed, whether it be a drug dealer or whatever, by a white person, than you do a white person getting killed by a black person.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. And where was it, down in Kentucky or Tennessee that they had 5 black officers that killed another black guy.
I didn't hear about that.
It's been a while. I mean, probably a good year, if not more.
Well, if it's been that long ago, and they just must have mentioned it once or twice, and that was it.
I don't think they ever charged the officers with it. So, but it's things like that. Why can't we just get along? Period. And I know a lot of people still talk about slaves and slave ownership and all that. It's like, live in the present, not in the past. That's what we need to do. I mean, there's too many people that develop this hate thing because, well, my great uncle was a slave. Well, I'm sorry that he was a slave. It's not my fault. I don't think it was any of my family's fault that they had slaves, or whoever decided to do that slavery stuff was a moron. And did presidents and senators and governors and all this other stuff own slaves? Probably. But here again, that was in the past. And the same thing I feel with the Native Americans. It's like, your land was taken from you. I understand. I mean, I would be upset too. But you weren't around when it was taken from you. Your ancestors were. And so now we've got the casinos that are owned exclusively by Native Americans.
99% of the casinos, yes.
Yeah. And you've got
and the online gambling and the pull tabs and all kinds of other stuff.
Not really the pull tabs. I mean, you can get pull tabs for any bar. So
yeah.
But definitely the casinos.
The electronic pull tabs is the Indian owned.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get a portion of. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
And I don't understand where all that comes from. I mean, it's like I've got a sister-in-law that's Native American too. I don't remember exactly how much she is, but she doesn't get anything from the tribal council like a lot of the ones that do. That are living on the reservations and all that. And I just think it needs to stop. It's like, why do we have to have retribution for people that, I mean, for things that we never did in the present? I don't think it's fair to anybody else because, I mean, you've got one particular group that is making a ton of money on losers like that.
Hey,
but the whole thing is it's not fair. I don't think.
No, I agree. I mean, why should we pay for our forefathers' sins?
Yeah, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. And we're doing it today.
Yeah,
it's like Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, I wish he was alive today still. And he had a dream, and that dream could have been reality, but we, for some reason, suppressed that idea that he had, that whatever color you are, we're all equal.
Yeah.
So
anybody
got anybody on the YouTube want to challenge me on that? Chime in. Our chat line is open. Well, that's good coffee. Highlander Grog. Can't believe that you just can't drink coffee without cream, though. Does it have to be flavored cream?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
It's just what I prefer, and I just can't drink black coffee.
Oh. Have you ever tried?
Yes.
Oh. When you're 2?
Ha 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 ha. No. I just don't like black coffee.
Yeah.
There's people that love it, and then there's people that like coffee but can't have it black.
I like the bottom of the barrel myself when it's just freshly brewed and there's like that much in the pot. So,
just enough for a cup.
Exactly. And I like it nice and strong. So,
yeah, in other words, like sludge.
Yeah, I do. I like it when you can put a spoon in it and stand straight up.
Yeah.
So, I've never tried espresso though. And I've heard that's like 10 times stronger.
Oh, if you want to stay awake for a while, yeah, have some espresso. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
That's right. People, when they'll go into Starbucks, I want 3 shots of espresso added to my coffee. I mean, if they're that, if they want that much, if they want that much, go get the high octane coffee. I had that, and oh my god, my eyes were actually rattling.
Yeah.
When I was driving from Connecticut to Vegas, my eyes were just like somebody put them in a paint shaker and just turned it on full blast.
Kind of like your brain.
Aha. It's all right. Get all your jokes in while you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pat seems to think that he's got one that's gonna outdo everything they've done.
I'll get them one way or another. I'll come up with something.
That's what my old news cohort said on my last show down in North Carolina. She said that she'd get me really, really good, and she never did. I mean, the one that she got me probably the best was when we had that massage therapist come on as a sponsor, and I said, well, I went to use that service, and then Margaret said, well, I suppose they had to use 2 tables for you. So that was the only time. I actually marked it on the calendar. I don't have that calendar anymore, but that's like, it's not half as funny as the time that I taped the remote control fart machine underneath her chair and pressed the buttons when she was doing the news.
God.
All of a sudden,
yeah. How to embarrass a news anchor.
She couldn't figure out what was going on. So, or the time that I replaced her microphone with a banana.
What?
Yeah. Just as a joke. I mean,
she didn't notice it?
No, she didn't, because she'd always, have the microphone on, on her arm thing here, and she'd have it way up, and then she would pull it down when she was ready to do the news. So, and she started talking, and then she looked up. She's like, "All right, Brian."
Alrighty then.
I mean, I've done a lot of things. I did a lot of things to her, and she really took it like a trooper. We had a David Browning, who was the Mayberry deputy. I don't know if he still does it or not, but he looked a lot like Barney Fife, and he talked just like him. And Margaret Murchison was a talker. I mean, she could talk for 2 hours straight, not repeat herself. And anyway, so I had David Browning do some opening liners for my show. And for her part in the show, she had about a 45-minute segment. And anyway, he talked like Barney Fife and said, "Yeah, that old Margaret, she can talk and talk and talk and talk." And then she takes this deep breath and talk and talk. And I played that on the air the next day. And Margaret gave me the finger. And I said, "Margaret, this is a talk show on the radio. People can't see your sign language toward me." So, and this is a gal that goes to church faithfully every Sunday and is in the community and all that. But she lived it up. I mean, she liked the attention, that's for sure. We really had a good thing going there. And then I decided to leave after all those years. But it was fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it. I even had her write a little message when I wrote my book, My Days in the Swap Shop, and had other friends do the same thing. But and Margaret has told me in the past that if it wasn't for me helping her out, figuring out how to work a computer, she wouldn't be doing anything anymore. So it was kind of funny. But anyway, I digress. So being a parent, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, a lot of young people, when they first get married, or even if they don't get married, they want to have a child together because they think it's going to be, the end all, the beat all, or beat all, the end all, or however that goes. It's it's not like a novelty where you get an Easter bunny, get a little bunny for Easter, or you adopt a puppy or a kitty. It's not the same at all. I mean, you've got to figure that you're going to be putting at least 18 years of hard work and dedication into that child, and reality sets in, and it hits them pretty hard, a lot of them. And it's really difficult to really see it ahead of time. I mean, a lot of people just get blindsided because it's like, oh gosh, I didn't know it was going to be this bad. This kid's crying all the time. What am I doing? What do I do? I mean, she cries or he cries, and I don't know if to change the diaper or feed him or burp him or take him for a walk or what. It's just
Car ride.
yeah, car ride.
When I'm in a car.
So
That seems to work the best, though.
yeah. But I have noticed that when you have if you have a newborn baby and you get a new puppy, that seems to help quite a bit. And it did with me because I grew up with animals. We had a dog named Barney, who
Last
was
name Rebel.
no Fife. But anyway, he was with me, basically chewing on my shoes when I was an infant, sitting on the floor. And we just grew up with animals. It was kind of a nice thing because it's like, well, the dog didn't watch me, like babysit me or like that, but it kept me active quite a bit of the time. So that helped out with my parents. And my dad was working all the time. My mom was working all the time. She raised 4 boys, or they raised 4 boys. Me being the baby of the family. So it was neat, but we still have people out there nowadays that are having a difficult time. Well, it's more difficult now because things are a lot more expensive.
Huh.
Diapers. I mean, good Lord. Whereas my wife would say, Lord love a duck. I never understood that. But anyway.
Say that again.
Lord love a duck. But anyway, it's expensive for diapers these days. I mean, holy cow. Baby wipes, $17 for a box of baby wipes.
That's only for what, 10 or 12?
Yeah, it's like for I think 11. They call it a case, but it's only 11. And I mean, my wife and I had got baby wipes here because when the granddaughters come to visit, none of them only use it for washing their hands and all, cleaning their hands or the faces, but the backside too. But I mean, and the food, the baby food these days, outrageous.
Yeah.
We had when my wife and I had Brianna, we made our own baby food. We had a
Processor.
We had a juicer and a processor. She loved strained carrots. I mean, like the leftover from the juicer.
Oh, the pulp.
Pulp. Thank you. And she loved that. She loved spinach and asparagus. I hated to clean that up after the fact. Nothing like green diapers. So, or green and orange diapers. But
Ew.
yeah. And back then we used washable diapers. I mean, and that was a chore in itself. You have to scrape off the poopy and into the toilet, flush that, and then throw it in the laundry, like almost right away, or soak it. Just nasty.
Yeah, I remember the old baby buckets.
Yeah, I mean, things really have changed a lot since I was born.
Yeah.
And it's like my daughter and her husband. We've got 2 wonderful grandkids, and they're very good parents. I mean, they are really good parents. And the thing is, they talk to their kids. They spend time, child rearing and interacting with them, and then my wife and I got them some tablets too. and they use those tablets, and they learn quite a bit quickly. So it's and I think that kids in one way are better off, and in another way not better off than we were.
Yeah, but when it's pretty sad though when a kid nowadays doesn't even know what a rotary telephone is. You know,
Well,
they don't know how to count change or write a check
well, yeah, that
or do
that,
simple math.
that kind of stuff I can understand. The rotary telephone, yeah, that's a no-brainer because
Well,
we don't have any. I mean, I
No,
don't have one.
I'm just saying in general. You know,
Yeah.
you talk about history.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the technological changes.
Yeah.
Is what I'm referring to. But they should still know about. Okay, if this breaks down,
Mhm.
this system still works.
Yeah.
You know, in case of emergency or something.
Right.
And they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I've seen so many videos
Well,
of kids not knowing what a rotary phone is.
and even a touchstone,
Yeah.
they aren't around that much anymore. I mean, there's very, very few places that will actually sell a cordless phone just because people have got their cell phones all the time. I mean, what happens when all the cell phone coverage goes down? We're going to be screwed. It's going to be back to ham radio or just
a lot
listening
of
to the
people
radio.
don't know what a ham radio is, Brian.
Well, actually, there's more than what you think there is. You have to have a specialized license for those. I had if you want to call it a radio license, radio operator's license, but not the same as a ham radio license. But still, in a lot of states, that's how they communicate was with ham radios. Actually, they kind of do that all over the world now, but and they have for years. And it's interesting if you have like a base scanner, like for like police, and check out the low bands and the high bands.
Yeah.
Some night, or even someday, and you'll hear those. So.
Hell, I remember when we had CBs in cars, and I mean, I still have them in trucks. Yes, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, I got off sidetracked here again, but we're talking about parents, and yeah, I don't think that in one way that kids are fortunate to be born this time, because a lot of times they don't I don't know. I spent time with my grandparents on my mom's side and my dad's side. I spent more time with my mom's parents than anybody, just because they were fun, and my other grandparents really weren't. I mean, they went to church quite a bit, and I'm not a big church person. I am a Christian, but I'm not a big church person. And anyway, spending time like that, you don't get a chance to spend time with your grandparents anymore, because a lot of people don't have grandparents. A lot of kids don't have grandparents.
True.
Or they're not even involved because of one thing or another. And a lot of the technology that we had back in my day, I mean, it was state of the art back then, but it's not anymore. It's has been, and I kind of figured it was going to be has been eventually, because of the world changing as much as it does. I mean, it just boggles my mind that we have so much technology, and now we're talking about AI and all this other crap too. That it's like pretty soon we're not going to even have to talk for ourselves. We're going to just have AI do it for us.
Well,
So
we're all going to get implants in our brains that are going to be say, okay, this is what they want to say to you.
yeah, no thanks. Ain't happening to me.
Yeah.
But and the other thing too is that you've got the younger parents these days. I mean, we had young parents back then too, but a lot of them just don't know what to do. They don't have home ec classes. They don't have sewing classes anymore. I mean, there's just so many deficits in our school systems that aren't taught anymore than it should be. How to cook, how to, like you said, how to count change back, or even budget a checkbook, for crying out loud. I know a lot of people don't use checks anymore, and things are changing. I'm sure we pretty soon we won't be accepting checks anywhere. I mean, that's a given.
Well, a lot of places don't accept cash anymore either.
Yeah, it's all credit cards.
Yeah.
So
It does great for the credit card companies, but it's not good for you.
no, because you're generally paying another, was it 2 or 3%?
Higher,
Well, I've seen it 2 or 3%. but
depending on the credit card.
yeah, or depending on actually where you're spending the money. What I'm saying is not the percentage that you're paying to the credit card company. It's what you're paying to the business to use that credit card.
Oh yeah,
Because the businesses don't they don't pay anything out of their own pocket. They have you pay it for them.
yeah, the process of
Right. So, and things like that. So,
now, yeah, you're talking now. There's another question. What in the hell is a surcharge on a bill when you go out to eat? Is it the tip?
yeah, that's the other thing I don't like is when they start adding tips. It's like you won't get a tip from me unless you work your butt off, because I'm not going to give you a tip for just bringing me water. Woohoo! If you don't come over to my table and ask for, hey, do we need refills here, or what else can I get you? Be attentive. I mean, you don't have to go overboard, but the more you do, I think a lot of times if you've got someone that actually tips, will give you a better tip rather than if you don't do
The
anything.
nicer you are when a person comes and to the establishment, the nicer the servers are, the
Yeah.
bigger the tip's going to be.
What I don't really get is you go through a drive-through like at Starbucks or Caribou.
And they expect a tip.
They've got a little tip jar up in the window. It's like, what the hell's that? I mean, it's stupid because you're doing your job. Why should you get a tip for doing a job? Really? And you're getting paid an hourly wage, so you should be making some somewhat decent money. Yeah, it's probably not $15 or $20 an hour, which you'd like, but you're still getting paid. Whereas waitresses or waiters,
They get $7.35 an hour. They used to be $3.33, and then it went up.
but it's a draw, is what it comes down to. They draw just like salespeople. They will. When I worked for Ashley Furniture and Furniture Mart, and they're not the only ones that are doing it, but I made 5% of my sales, 5%, which is horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to sell a boatload of furniture to get a decent check.
Yeah.
And
Well, same thing with jewelers.
well, yeah, it's less than 5%.
Yeah, I want to call it a commission, but
Yeah. But the whole thing is, if you don't make your sales quota for that week or those 2 weeks, then you get the $12 an hour or whatever the heck it is that you agreed to. And then if you make more, say if your commission check is more, then they take that money that they paid you out. So you get less in your check.
Yep.
So I don't think it's fair, personally, because you're working your butt off. You're going around the store, you're dusting things and help bringing in freight and all this other stuff, but yet you get screwed on your paycheck. So
No, just like salaried employees.
Yeah.
Some of them.
pretty soon we're not going to have furniture stores to go to. It'll be all online. And in fact, more and more are going online. And they'll go into the stores and check out the product, then they'll walk out and then order it online, get it delivered.
Yeah.
So, and
because they find out it's cheaper to buy it online than it is
Yeah,
going through the.
it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the secret sales that they have, they have up to 35% off. Whoop-de-whoop. And it just, cycles 15 to 25 to 35%. There's never anything more than 35% off. It's kind of like Menards. They're 11-cent rebate. Hoo-hoo!
Yeah, but it adds up.
It does, but you have to spend it in their store.
Yeah, that part I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I have, I've already spent the money in your store.
Mm-hmm.
When you send that money back to me, I should have a check
Right.
and say, okay, you can go spend it over here at a different store.
Joe Blows to pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be, okay, well, hey, look, I got a check here. I can go get a half a pound of coffee.
Right. And that's the whole thing, is it doesn't make any sense. And it's like, and then you have crooked managers.
Yeah.
I had a crooked manager at Ashley and Furniture Mart. I mean, he was a nice guy, but he was very crooked. I gave my notice, and I had what they call spiffs on mattresses because I was a mattress specialist. And the companies that we would sell, like Sealy or Tempur-Pedic or what have you, would give us a certain amount of money on a card that we would get for selling a mattress. So a king size Tempur-Pedic, I'd end up getting about $200 to $300 extra, and that had nothing to do with my
Salary.
my paycheck. So yeah, and I wasn't on salary really. I mean, salary maybe, but not salary.
Yeah.
But anyway, but when I gave my notice, I gave them a week notice because they don't give you any notice if they're going to fire you.
True.
So I figured, you know what, screw it. So I gave my notice, and I never got my spiffs from the 3 mattresses, the 3 king size Tempur-Pedic mattresses that I sold, which would have been right around $600 to $700. You know what happened to it? The sales manager took that sale and gave it to himself.
Uh-huh.
And that really, really irked me. It's like, you have got no ethics whatsoever. So,
Well, it's like when I quit a job. I had a job that I really loved.
yeah.
And one day the new manager comes in. Now, mind you, I'm supposed to be the kitchen manager.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say, okay, this, or this.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this particular time, this so-called new manager came up and gave me a menu and said, this starts today.
Yeah.
Never once told me what it, how it's made.
Yeah.
Didn't ask if I had the product on hand.
Right.
So I'm in the kitchen. These new orders come in. I just made what I thought was right and put it on the plate.
Yeah.
And they came up to me and said, no, this is wrong. I said, well, 1, you just handed me a menu.
Mm-hmm.
2, you didn't ask me if I had the product. And 3, you didn't tell me how it went together.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And then more and more things started happening. Then they came to me and said, well, we're going to make somebody else the manager, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. I went to work the next morning, put the keys underneath the door with a little note saying, thanks for the past X amount of years. I enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
If they have the right to fire me for any reason at any given time,
yeah,
why the hell should I give them 2-week notice?
Yeah.
If they're going to pull crap like that.
Yeah. And that's one of the other things too, as far as being a parent goes, because no job is guaranteed.
Nope.
I mean, it was the same way back when I was a child too. I mean, my dad had several different jobs over the years. He went from being he worked at Big Arena Feeds, which was a big feed supplier for years and years in southern Minnesota. And then he went to work as a co-op, or at co-op rather, as the manager of the store, gas station, and where you get your cars fixed and stuff. So I think they sold tires and things. And then he went to work for Farmland Insurance, which became Nationwide Insurance. And then he retired. So, and then he went to work at the school as a manager, or as a janitor rather. So he really liked that. But yeah, there's no guarantee in work.
Nothing's guaranteed.
And that's the
only thing that's guaranteed is the government's going to take your money.
And you die. Well, either one of those. So anyway, so parenting is probably a little bit more difficult these days than it was back when we were growing up.
I don't care what kind of job you have. Parenting is the hardest job.
Yeah. I was a single parent for many, many years. And I actually wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I mean, I enjoyed being a parent. I still do. My daughter calls me, probably 2 or 3 times a week when she's on her way to work. And she's in North Carolina. I've got 2 stepdaughters that are wonderful, and I treat them just like my own daughters. They treat me like their dad. So they don't call me dad, which is fine. I mean, they don't have to. But I am the stepdad, which is I've been referred to by my older stepdaughter. And I do appreciate that. I mean, I just want to be there for them in case they need something. And that's what I told them when their mom and I got back together after 25 years. So we were high school sweethearts. She wouldn't marry me back then either. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
so
Why is it because you're too childish, or
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah, still am though. That's the thing. But I've grown a little bit.
yeah? No, it's pretty sad when our minds are 18, but our bodies are 100.
Yeah. Mm.
In
Yeah.
your mind, you say, "Oh, I can do this," and your body goes, "I guess again."
hmm Then you get depression too when it comes to raising kids. I mean, you look at yourself, you think over everything twice. Did I do this right? Did I do that right? Should I have done this? Should I have not done this? I mean, it's a lot, and the whole thing is you're learning as a new parent. You're learning just like my parents learned.
Yeah.
You know, it's a trial and error thing. And so don't kick yourself in the head. Keep trying. Try to be a good parent. Raise respectable kids.
At least try to raise
Yeah.
respect.
And if you have a problem with it, discipline them. I don't care. Discipline them. Don't knock them over the head, but discipline them. Take stuff away. You know,
that doesn't always work either.
Well, it does work on certain things. And if they like playing tennis or if they like doing horses or whatever, you take that away for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. A lot of times that'll snap them right back into where they need to be.
Well, nowadays, depending on what the kid does wrong, you got to take away the Xbox, the cell phone,
Well,
the
no, I mean,
computer, the tablet,
I
the
understand that.
Android. You got
Yeah,
to.
yeah. You can take. I mean, you don't have to just take my advice on what to take away. Take away whatever you want to. I kind of like the some of the videos on YouTube that I've seen or TikTok in the past that the parent is fed up with the child and they paid for the Xbox or the game system or whatever. They take it and they throw it out the damn window and it hits the pavement, goes into a million pieces, and their child is just livid, you know. Well, the parent says, "Well, I paid for that thing and I'm tired of you not listening to me. So you're not getting another one of those, period."
If you want one, get a job.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can't be so hard on yourself as a parent, because a lot of people think, "Oh crap, you know, I really did something stupid there," and I'm really feeling guilty for it. Don't feel guilty. That's exactly what your kids want you to do. Oh, well, you feel so guilty, you're gonna go out and buy me a new one, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Well, I want a PlayStation 5 or 6 now. So
Yeah.
no, ain't happening.
I want the newest model.
No.
Nope.
So be a parent, be strong, discipline them.
And when did kids get so damn greedy?
I don't know. I mean, I had one listener that was working in Sanford, North Carolina, that he bought his kid an ATV and for Christmas. Didn't like the color of it. The kid didn't like the color of it. I didn't want a blue one.
No, I've seen a few of those videos.
Yeah. Well, that person sold the ATV and didn't get him one. Just said, "You know what? I'm going to sell it. You're not going to get nothing.
Right.
Period."
Right.
That's the way
Well,
it should be.
There was one I seen where a father went out and bought his daughter a brand new car.
Yeah.
And
grab a water.
and it wasn't the color that she wanted. It wasn't the model she wanted.
Yeah.
And she stammered all around. Instead of the father taking the car and, you know, selling it or bringing it back,
Mhm.
what does he do?
You junk it?
No.
Oh.
He went out and got her the one she wanted.
No.
It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. Spoiled kids.
I mean, there's no reason whatsoever to spoil a child.
Yeah. Well, you know, spoiled our grandkids like crazy.
Well, grandchildren,
Yeah.
you know, a grandparent, that's their right, you know, to spoil.
But we expect them to be respectful.
Yeah.
And there's time. Then the 3 and 4. I mean, they're still learning. They'll be learning for quite a few years to come. But the the whole thing is they appreciate it. I mean, my wife is the best grandma, and I'll tell you the reason why. She every time we go down to babysit, and it's usually on bowling nights. But we will go down and babysit, and Carrie will have something that she's going to take along to do with the girls. And that's usually like baking stuff because they love to bake with grandma. And they made, I think it was brownie cupcakes or something like that. And they get to lick the beaters and lick the bowl and eat the sprinkles and all this other stuff, you know. And I usually buy them like the little cow tails. They're about yay big.
Yeah.
There we go. I always get backwards on this thing, but they're they're kind of cool, and they always go to grandma's purse. They don't look in the purse, but what do you got, grandma? What do you got? I mean, I used to be the same way. I mean, my grandparents got me a little Mickey Mouse Club bank. It was a gumball machine, and I had to have pennies. Well, the thing was, I don't know, probably about yay big.
Other way.
About yay big. Can't get used to that. But anyway, so it was like a small globe, basically. And it was plastic, but you put a penny in and it would give you a gumball. Man, I love those gumballs so much. I went through almost the whole thing in one day. And then I ran out of pennies and I couldn't get into it. Well, I could, but there was a key for the bottom of it. So my grandma said, okay, well, here's 10 more pennies. That's all you get. So it was a bank that I could make money on it and then go out and buy more gumballs. So it was kind of cool. But anyway, just getting back to the whole parenting thing. Nobody is perfect when it comes to parenting. Nobody. And I've had my parents chime in at times and give me their 2 cents worth. And I've told them, I said, well, thanks for the advice, but I'm not going to use your advice. I have to learn myself, you know. And if I make a mistake, it's on me. If I make a mistake that you told me, it's on you. And I'd rather not have it that way. So, I mean, there were some things that I, you know, some advice that I took from my parents or my in-laws at the time, and I used that, and it worked out. But you know, I don't want somebody else to raise my children. I want to raise my children myself, the way I feel. And did I spank Brianna when she was a baby? Yeah, a couple of times I did. Did she have it coming? Yeah, she did. But the one time that she knew she was gonna get a spanking, so she put a big thick book down her pants. And as soon as I gave her a swat, yep, I laughed and she laughed too, and it was all good. But she still got disciplined because of it. I mean, it's just like, yeah, you know, you got to learn not to do stuff that your dad tells you not to do.
Yeah, but kids don't like to listen. They're always right. You're always wrong.
Well, you know, depending on what age you catch them. So,
yeah.
And then you also have the problem with, oh gosh, there must be something wrong with my child. I'm going to take him to a therapist. Oh, don't take him to a therapist. I mean, oh my word. Therapists are almost worse.
Yeah, put them on Ritalin.
Yeah. Well, they don't. A lot of times they don't use Ritalin anymore. They shouldn't, because it's a really, really harmful medication. But, you know, and I've worked with kids, not as a therapist, but as a counselor, skills counselor more than anything. And I've talked with therapists in the past, and I don't agree with everything they say. I mean, I think that kids are labeled way too easily. Like, well, my child's got autism or ADHD. Well, yeah, I've got CRS. Well, can't remember stuff. I mean, but you shouldn't label a child, because that child's going to be labeled for the rest of their lives. Well, you know, I'm autistic. Well, yeah, good for you. You know, autism does not mean that
you're broken.
I mean, sometimes, it basically tells people that you're special, and not in a negative way, but a lot of times in a positive way, because there's autistic kids out there that are just super intelligent. If you ever get a chance, watch a movie called Temple Grandin.
Temple what?
Temple Grandin. She was autistic. She, I think, got a master's and a doctorate, but she developed a pattern for herding cattle through the slaughter homes or slaughterhouses that wouldn't put any stress on them, because you get stressed, you get tough meat, from my understanding of it.
Yeah.
So, but she came up with something, and she fought tooth and nail to get this thing approved, and she finally did. But it's a great movie. I mean, and she doesn't like physical hugs from people. She made a hugging machine in her dorm room because she needed to feel some sort of embrace, but couldn't take it from a person. So she made a hugging machine, and it was thrown out of her dorm because somebody thought it was weird, like a sex toy or something. So, but anyway, it's a really good movie, Temple Grandin, and I can't remember the name of the actress, but she does a great job in it. And she is just this. It's a true story, and I think that you'll really appreciate watching that. There's a lot of different movies out there too, but again, don't label a child just because they're acting a little bit different. You don't want to give them a label for life, because a lot of times that label will make them go right downhill. They'll feel sorry for themselves, and they'll try to get everybody else to feel sorry for them as well. So they don't need that. They need positivity in their life, and that's where you come in as a parent. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got to say about that. I tried to stay on topic, and I know we got sidetracked a couple of times, but I just wanted to say that, because there's so many people out there that want to be a parent, don't know how to go about doing it. Well, I mean, you know what the first thing is, obviously, if you've got one, a child, that is.
Yeah. Children can be fun. They can also be a pain.
Yep. My
Well,
kid was a pain quite frequently, but I still love her, and I still brought her up to.
Well, no matter what, we're going to love our children regardless
Yeah.
of how things are.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether or not they want to believe you,
Mm-hmm.
That's neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
the parents' love for that child is never going to go away.
That's right.
That's just the way it is.
So we've got, it looks like we've had 2 or 3 viewers. Of course, we don't always get a lot of viewers when we're doing this thing live. I'm just going to put it out to you. If you would, just let us know. And you can do it through our Facebook fan page if you want. But do you want to hear more from us, or do you think we should just close the case and close the door and that'd be it? I mean, I'll probably still go on at some point in my life, but I don't know when. But do you want us to keep on with the show, or do you want us to say goodbye and good luck and all that other stuff? So let us know through our Facebook fan page. And I know Pat's back there. He's like, oh gosh, I don't want to quit doing this. Well, I don't want to quit doing it either. But when we don't have anybody that really wants to get involved with it, is it worth it? Not to me. I like interaction big time. And I mean, Pat can give me interaction up to a point, but it's nice, and I appreciate Pat. Okay, I wasn't saying that, Pat, in a hurtful manner. I was just saying,
I know.
but it's nice to have interaction from the audience as well. So,
Yes, I agree. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we first started on this. Oh man, it was great, and I'd like to keep it going, but it's just like people aren't interested in what we have to say.
we're not, and I'm not going to talk about sex,
Drugs
or rock and roll,
or
Well,
religion.
I might talk about rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I know religion I don't like to talk about, because there's so many different religions, first of all. And
We're just two
there's
old guys
just
talking.
Too many ways that you can
Misconstrue.
misconstrue things, because you might see one verse in the Bible that means something to you that means something totally different to somebody else. So that's why I've never really done religious stuff. So, but anyway, So that's our show for the night. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll maybe be talking to you next Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.